Stampers, this is Sarah with Stinking Cute Cards, and I have the third of the August 2016 Hostess Club demonstrations ready for you. This one is a fun fold, and we are again using the By the Seashore designer series paper and the By the Seashore cardstock. And this time we're actually going to use the Seaside Shore stamp sets. So we've got a real fun little card for you today, and it goes together, other than cutting it out, it goes together actually fairly quickly. So it opens up like this, and then opens like that. So that is your fun fold. It's kind of like a little peekaboo folded card. So, all right, to go ahead and assemble this card, what you're gonna need is you are going to need a couple of different pieces of cardstock for your base. One is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of cardstock that will be your base. We are going to need a 4" by a 10 1/2" scored at 5 1/4 piece of the Calypso Coral, and then also a piece of 3 3/4 by 5" of the designer series paper, the By the Seashore designer paper. So that is going to be attached to the front of your card there. And then you're also going to need a piece of cardstock that is 5" by 7 1/2 scored again at 3 3/4, and that is going to be put on the inside of your cardstock. So step one is to go ahead and attach the cardstock to the front of the piece here. The reason you're going to do that is it's a little tough to get it lined up if you're going to be running them through the big shot separately. So the first step is I'm going to make my porthole, and I'm going to use this. We're going to use the layering circles, and I will use the smaller of my 2 circles for the porthole front. So I'm just going to use my magnetic platform, and I'm going to line that up fairly close to the top because I want to put my anchor towards the bottom. Okay, so we're just going to run that through the big shot there. Okay. So then step 2, so I have my circle. Then step 2 is to use the Dapper Denim cardstock, and we are just going to go ahead and use both of the circles at the same time because I want an outline. So we're just going to go ahead and run that through like that. And then the sandwich is going to look like this. So then what's going to happen is it's going to look just like this. You're going to get rid of that piece, you're going to get rid of the center, and you're going to be left with the perimeter. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you are just going to go ahead and use the green glue or similar glue. I'm running out here. I'm going to have to get a new one. Dot, 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 not a lot, please. This one is very sticky. So then what you're going to do is you're just going to glue that to the front of your piece, lining them up. Okay, we're going to just set that aside because we're not going to need that for a moment. We're going to go ahead and use a little strip of cardstock, vanilla cardstock, and I'm going to carefully stamp my rope. And you can kind of line that up. Not too bad. My anchor is going to cover it, so it'll be fine. I'm going to cut that to 3 3/4, and we are going to adhere that to a piece of Dapper Denim cardstock. I believe that's 3/4 by 3 3/4. Cut that off. And we're going to attach that to the bottom there, and it's going to look just like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stamp up the inside. So we're going to do our angelfish and Calypso Coral. We are going to add our other fish in Dapper Denim, and we're going to use the Happy Birthday from another stamp set that I have completely forgotten the name right at this moment. And we're going to stamp that down there on the bottom. Okay, so now we need to add some sand. What you're going to do is you've got a couple of different pieces of crumb cake. Okay, and so we have a crumb cake stamp pad and a crumb cake sponge, and I'm just going to tear that piece of cardstock in half, sponge it a little bit, and that's going to get attached to the bottom. What I like to do is put one of them up just a little bit and then attach the bottom one to make it look like it is a little mountain. This works good with white if you're going to make snow. And then I went ahead and I have stamped a few different few different pieces from this by the Seaside stamp set. This is the little seaweed. I've cut it out. So I'm going to add that to the inside of the card. And then we're going to stamp up the inside. Okay, so I've got another piece of the crumb cake that I'm going to tear and sponge. I'm going to add that. Okay, I'm going to add that to the inside. I have a seashell clam. I have a green, not sure if these are clownfish. We're just going to add that with a dimensional right about here. And how about some more seaweed? This time I've stamped it on Calypso Coral and cut it out. And we need to stamp a saying. Okay, so what I've got is a piece of cardstock. It's very vanilla, and I'm going to do a two-step stamp here. I am going to carefully ink up the swimming with the Calypso Coral and turn it around and carefully ink up the saying, and you'll have hope your day goes swimmingly. If you're careful, you won't mess up your pads. Okay, and then that one is going to go on the inside of our card, just like that. So then we just need to add the finishing touches to the outside. Ooh, I forgot another oyster clam. We're going to add that right there. And it's just a matter of adding the outside embellishments. So we've got a anchor, and we're going to add an ahoy. Ahoy there. And let's add some bolts to our, actually, time out. We're going to go ahead and add this to our card base. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of dapper denim that I told you needed. And that just provides a nice sturdy base. The finishing touch would just be to add some pearls. I a lot of times will end up with a lot of these. I don't know that I use them all that often, but they're meant to be on a string so that you can pick the whole piece up and you can do a string of them. But did you know that if you just cut them apart, they work like just regular pearls as well? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and add 8 of those. I find that if I work across, it works the best. So then our card, here it is in all its finished glory. So again, thanks for joining us. This is Sarah with Stinkincutecards.com. If you need more information about Hostess Clubs, please visit my website, www.stinkincutecards.com. Thanks.